I am beautiful inside and out, delivered to me by Grow Coffee. Then tell me how you do it. That's what I had last week.
Shortcake.
Aye. Mine's just like an Alex cake. Right, but get you back. I was actually thinking that in the
An Empire biscuit, sorry, it's not.
So before we go into anything else, right? So it'll probably all 40 bits, man, but it doesn't matter. It's still worth a go.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
When's the last time I ran down a hill?
That's it. One.
Hello, LinkedIn. Me again. I hope he's like that wee tune. Because we actually listen. So while we're waiting for it to start, the live stream to start, we're sitting listening to that. Carl and I sitting there.
My toe was tapping.
Having a wee jig to ourselves. So thank you very much, everybody that is watching today's show live. We have the absolutely fantastic Karen Stewart with us, and we're going to be talking about all things skill in the engineering and the manufacturing space. One of the things, obviously, we see a lot of different companies, so we obviously are in so many different sectors. We visit a lot of manufacturing companies, we speak to a lot of engineering companies, and every one of them at the moment says that it's difficult to get the right people with the right skills. So what we're going to do is talk about that, because Karen's an expert in it.
Yay.
So Karen is the person that can help fill a lot of these gaps. But we're going to talk about the challenges and everything else that's here. So if you are a business that you're going, I can't find an engineer, a technician, an electrician, blah, 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 all of these key skills that you need within the manufacturing engineering space, then you want to keep listening. Okay, before we get started, Karen, we've also got a few kind of people we need to thank for today.
Okay.
So we need to thank Andrew, Bold Mango Media, for this fantastic studio.
Very comfortable.
Yeah, thank Amber for making a clown of me every time I'm in Grow, asking for a maca chaka latte raspberry thingy job. And then also, obviously, thanking our wonderful sponsors, which is Grow. So we had a breakfast at Grow, didn't we?
We did. You stuffed me.
Aye, so Karen's sitting here stuffed. So Karen had a taco and I had French toast. And
It was delicious.
it was delicious. So Gordon and the team at Grow, thank you very much for a lovely breakfast, and thank you very much for our cakes. And well, we don't have any coffees today. We've got
a smoothie,
right? So there's my smoothie thing. As we say, they don't just do coffees and teas. They actually do jasmine tea, don't they, Andrew? Andrew was on the jasmine tea for a wee while. Okay. Right. So the cakes, right? You're after jasmine tea now, you're back onto the man's latte. Okay, he's a mixer. So cakes wise, there's a brownie here and a bit of honeymoon slice. And then what's yours, Karen?
Mine is a stuffed cookie, and I'm very much looking forward to having that.
Earlier on, she didn't want it because she was stuffed, but we'll see.
But I've seen it now. I'm going to have it. I told you that.
And I'm also going to show I don't ever do this, but I'm going to do it just now because I've got my new gilet, right, that was just made for us, right? So Kane and I got one. So everybody else in the business, you've not got yours yet, but they will come. So new gilet. So I want to say a shout out to Embroidery Solutions, who do all of our corporate workwear and stuff like that. They're based in Kilwinning. Craig and that, they're brilliant. So anybody that's maybe looking for corporate workwear, go and see them. Tell them I sent you and see if I can get a discount.
I love how you keep it in here, sir.
That's it.
Great.
Listen, it's much easier to go and knock on somebody's door.
That's right.
When you need a bit of help with something, rather than try to phone them. And at least they know that I'm just round the corner, so they always deliver on time because they don't want to go and chap in their door. I'll give you this now because the last three guests, so I'm going to have to apologise to all you because I've not gave you a t-shirt. But there you go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There we go.
Lunch show t-shirt.
Hold that up and I'll wear that as my pyjamas. Thank you.
There you go. That's brilliant. That. I mean, Chris will be like, oh my Rick, man, what are you doing? Like that guy's everywhere. Right, so Karen, let's get started. So it's 920 in manufacturing engineering or engineering manufacturing?
Engineering and manufacturing.
Right, okay. So everybody follow that, right? 920 engineering and manufacturing.
So yes, I have had that as my business since 2017. But the wee changes recently. So I was a franchise and I was part of the 920 Recruitment Group. And in December last year, I bought out the final shares. And I'm now the master of my own wee destiny. So I have spent the last 3 months finding an office, settling in, getting my branding done. And I actually thought, since you're doing all your wee clubs, that would bring. Nobody's really seen the new branding yet, but I've just launched this.
Right,
So it's
wait there,
about to launch, and I'm giving you that mug.
In fact, I'll hide my face because you're better than me.
So I'm staying true to my 920 branding, but you know, I've named it NT. It's still very close to my roots, but we're recognisable. But it's showing that we're off doing our own wee journey now.
Brilliant. So you're a long-established new start.
Yes, yes, ready for the next phase.
Aye, and the likes of, obviously, we've known each other for a while now, and the manufacturing and engineering community, especially across Scotland, nearly everybody knows who you are. Right.
So I've done it for about 20 years now. So
Oh, you were just away when you started, was it?
and that's it. Yep, just a baby. And I've spent probably 20 years building relationships and joining dots for people, listening to the problems, coming up with solutions. It's an ever-changing market, and I like to think I help people evolve.
Yep.
So very few people that I've worked with wouldn't work with me again. So yes, I'm probably at the point where most people know me or
Yep.
have had some sort of brush or experience of working with me.
And I think that's a testament to it and what you've been doing there, because it's no recruitment, right, that you're doing. You're helping solve people's kind of people problems, let's
Yep,
call it, or people
yep.
challenges within their business. I mean, I think I've said this before on this show. I've dealt with recruiters for years, right? Nearly everybody hates recruiters because they're usually a pain in the arse, right? You're a pain in the arse, but in a good way. No,
Good. I'll take that.
no, but it's the difference is you're not there going, here, there's a million CVs, there's this, there's that, there's the next thing. What you, from my knowledge today, is you understand these sectors. You understand the types of people that these businesses need. You understand the challenges with getting the right people in. You also understand that what the cultural fit needs to be, as well as obviously what the development path needs to be. So I think that's a bit different from what other people
For a
do.
lot of others. And I think now, because I know the market so well, and I know my clients so well, and I know their businesses so well, it's now a wee pivotal stage, because you're talking about people can't find people, right? It's a real challenge for most businesses, not just in manufacturing and engineering. So it's nice that you have a client base or a network that will listen to you when you're trying to suggest something new, because everybody can be so set in their ways. And if you
Not in the manufacturing engineering sector, surely no. No. They all love change.
But it's, you know, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results, and that's what I'm tired of. So part of my, I suppose, new plans and new offerings are helping them think differently and what they can do to actually have the skills that they need in the business now and in the future.
I know, I think would be a great bolt-on for that is some condition monitoring services, to be honest with you.
Well, we were talking about the US, take me there and we'll link up.
Aye. No, but the likes of, you see the market more than probably most, right? So is everything that these people are, that we hear talking about, getting access to the right people with the right skills, is it as much a challenge as we all think?
Yes and no, right? So I think over the years, I've done it for nearly 20 now, right? It's always been hard.
Yeah.
It's always been hard because maybe, you know, back then people didn't know that it was a career of choice, and, you know, that wasn't diverse enough. And there's been loads and loads and loads of work done over that 20 years to address all of these things. But I think changes in technology, changes in mindsets within how things are done or how people are led, means that, you know, certain pools of talent have almost been sort of moved on for talent that we don't have yet, we've not created yet. There is probably, if businesses can look at themselves and say, what's my process like? Am I using an AI-driven system that's not clever enough to pick up CVs that we could be looking at? Is it just rejecting people? Are our processes too long? Are we too stuck in our ways and looking for specific skills that don't really exist that we could train up quite quickly? So I think there's a real mix in the market, that on top of, you know, the next generation don't always want to work in a remote site and travel every day and be on site, or you know, depending on the industry, does it sit within their morals and their values? You know, do they get flexible working? Because a lot of people want that. And then the new challenges that I'm finding, which are stopping manufacturing businesses moving forward, is the rising costs. So for the past 18 months, I have seen huge impacts where companies have lost skills by making them redundant because they've had to, and they're not allowed to replace heads as people leave. It's just really difficult because they're finding that things like productivity and their efficiencies and their quality, certain things are dipping, or projects aren't getting over the line, they're losing their customers. Everybody's a wee bit stressed, the morale's a wee bit low. So I think there's a real mishmash of businesses are struggling to bring people in or find what they need, and maybe being too specific in what they're looking for.
And I think on what you said there about the whole processes, and what I've seen is there's a generation, probably the generation before mine, which are now people are retiring and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there was always that kind of 15-year kind of gap
Yeah.
in the, you'd have said, where people never really went for hands-on type apprentices
That's
for a long
right.
time, but they were doing as if it was everybody was getting kind of advice to go to uni. In fact, I'd probably say actually my generation was that as well. It was, you were getting told, go to university, go and get a degree, blah blah blah, and there wasn't many people taking on trades and hands-on engineering and technicians roles. So that's these people now retiring.
That's right.
The generations after them are still not there yet.
That's right.
Because that's where our business comes in a lot of senses, is that we're trying to bridge that skill gap.
It's really difficult.
And we're trying to do that by using technology to get data that somebody would usually have had in their head. Because we see it all the time. So you've got a site engineer, right? And that engineer's been on that site for 30 years. That engineer knows that place inside out.
Every bit of kit. Yeah.
Right? That you can't learn that overnight.
No.
You can't learn it in a book,
No.
right? You have to learn that because folk used to go, how come Jimmy knew everything about in here? Because Jimmy's watched that break, that happened, this happened.
That's
I says,
right.
he didn't
He
learn
knows
all
the
these things
patterns.
because it all went well. He says they learned those things because stuff went wrong.
Yep.
And that's how you learn. But users have to go through that whole same learning cycle. So no, Jimmy's not there to tell you that needs to be done then and this needs to be done like that. You need to learn that. But can the businesses afford for people to learn that now? And that's where you're into that vicious circle you're talking about, where something gets missed, something goes wrong, quality goes down, and then rather than looking at, right, how do we focus on trying to improve that by new people, training programs, blah blah blah. It's reactive. So you're constantly just trying to fight the wind to keep the production going. And then it maybe it's just more difficult to make decisions and go, do you know what, I'm going to take a punt in this person, this person, and this person. They might not be exactly what we need just now, but we're going to try and pull them through. Whereas they're going, I need the answer right now. And the answer's not always there.
And it's not there. And I think in the space that you're working in, you know, you need engineers that have served their time.
100%.
And that's where the big gaps are. So if I get an electrical maintenance engineer, I have about 20 people want to pay a fortune to take them. And these candidates know they're in demand. So you're actually finding that rather than showing loyalty, some of them are just saying, oh, that's an extra bit, or I don't need a night shift there, or I don't want to do a shift, you know. So they can almost pick and choose. It's very difficult. What I've done in that space, because, you know, you can't create an engineer for nothing. You just can't do it. But we've sort of created in, you know, a certain company where maybe their engineers are doing a lot of changeovers, and that's a bit boring for an engineer. Why don't we get technical operators? And actually, if they're good and they do that, you put them through an adult apprenticeship. So you're trying to build different wee models for different companies that work. We set up an apprenticeship with a local college. They were delighted to come in and do it. And that's a wee model that they've continued to use. So, you know, my suggestions when I go out to meet them, say, look, I don't know if I can find you 4 just now. I might find you 1 or 2. But how about we do something that's going to help you longer term?
But that see that consultative approach and that because that's not just finding the people. That's helping them build a resilient strategy, which I think is a big major difference in what you're trying to do, rather than somebody that goes, I need these 4 electrical roles,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas you're trying to go out there and go, right, well, let's look at how you can do it a bit different, bit more efficient, and then also be a bit more sustainable for the future of the business, because you'll then get people on a journey. You don't need them there right now,
That's right.
right? But what you are putting them on is a journey that they will hopefully remember, because you're giving them a chance that
That's
they wouldn't
right.
get anywhere else. So that's where you hopefully get your loyalty, rather than just you've got Jim that's gone, I'm one,
Jump away.
they've offered me an extra pot noodle at lunch, I'm off.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I worked in the oil and gas industry up in Aberdeen for years.
Oh, it would have been terrible for
Holy
that.
moly.
Yes.
Oh, they're fucking, they're offering me a free bacon roll in the morning. Right, okay, mate, what's a bacon roll? 150. Right, okay, so you're going to jump for a company you've been with for 10 years for a bacon roll. Right?
I know.
A load of nonsense. But listen, that's the world that we unfortunately live in.
It is. They're in demand and they've got the choice. And I think, I don't know if you heard my opening speech at the Seed Awards, I think you were there, but I was PRing a new offering that I've created within my business, and it's called the Skill Supply Chain Partners.
Sounds very fancy.
Well, it is, because I was tired of not being able to deliver on certain things.
Yeah.
And I started to look into this probably about 18 months ago. And offshore resource was never something I thought I'd be involved in, because I'm all about building skills here. But I thought we don't have enough, we're not doing it quickly enough, and actually we need to do something different. So off I went with two people that are really experienced in that space, and founded a company called Staff Without Borders, where it's offshore resource. And because I was inexperienced in it, I probably saw it as a bit of a short-term plug for companies. But actually what I'm finding is that we're getting people who are really highly skilled, based elsewhere, that are reporting in, that can support the teams here. So it kind of led me on to looking at, well, what other solutions can I offer? And that's where the Skill Supply Chain Partners was born, because you're saying, well, actually I could go in and, you know, companies are still operating for job descriptions that they used 20 years ago for the same job. They're still using an org chart that was 40, 50, 60 years old. They've not developed that. And that's where the idea came round of, well, they don't work for today and they won't work for tomorrow.
Yes.
And if we keep doing this, because the rising costs won't go away, right? That's never going to go. It's not going to go down now, right? So actually, if you're struggling to move forward, innovate, get your projects over the line, but can't because of that, what are you going to do?
Aye.
So it's almost a consultancy service where there's different steps of radical. You know, you can just toe dip and you can be quite radical, and we can redesign it for you, but it's using a variety of different methods. So for example, if you have a department where you've had jobs open for a year and a half, you're not going to find that person. That's what we're going to change. So do we change everybody's job titles within and their responsibilities within that department to allow some offshore resource, or to allow fractional resource, or to allow for something different? Or do we need to create a skills training plan to get people to understand what they need to do now? Because we're not going to get that person in. And it's almost creating that wee model for them. And then if they want to then use the businesses that I've got to deliver on it, fine, but they don't have to. You know, it's just to give them ideas on how they can move forward in a different way.
It's really good. I've looked at the offshore kind of support and stuff like that in the past, and there's some real clever people out there that you get at a fraction of the cost, and sometimes are available a lot more hours than your normal staff in your own business are.
And also so one company that's used them are saying the 5-hour time difference really helps, because now they can be client facing. They're really experienced in the business. They know the processes. They know they're embedded. So actually they've got longer operating hours, which I hadn't even thought of that. So they're saying, well, we're getting more projects over the line. We're going to invest in apprentices so that we can build our skills here. And we're going to use our offshore resources mentors to the apprentices. And I thought, here's me thinking this is a wee short-term gap plug for businesses, but actually people are building it in to their longer term strategy. Or we created for a drinks company. They basically said they've got loads of daily rate, highly paid contractors that they can't really afford just now. And they only need them for 2 months, but keep them for 6, because they need to know the business, the processes, all of this sort of stuff. And I says, well, what's your project discipline? What's the main discipline in the next 3 years? Mechanical. Right, let's create a job for a project support engineer, and I'll get you a brilliant mechanical engineer offshore who can support your project engineers. And I said, even if you only use them 50% of the time, it's still saving a fortune. But they're utilising, and everybody's really enjoying having that resource, and it's working well. So it's about you know, there'll be things we try that might not work, but it's been open to trying. And you're open
100%.
to work with me to do something different.
And again, it's the same as a lot of these things. It's people putting their trust in you that you actually know what you're talking about, right? And I say this all the time. We're doing a thing with the Herald now, and it's helping us do our marketing. Andrew knows about it. We're doing this kind of stuff. And the guy's sitting there, and he came to me, and I'm going, that doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know if I would do it that way. And the guy went and said, Jamie, no disrespect, he says, but this is what I do for a living. He says, I wouldn't sit there and try and tell you how to do your job, he says, because that's what you're good at. He says, this is what I'm good at. All right, mate, carry on. And see you actually having, and I think that's something that especially in the engineering manufacturing sector, sometimes people are scared to give that and go, do you know what, right, Karen, you know what you're doing. Everybody says you're good at it. There you go. Come and tell me what we need to do. Right? Because they're sometimes stuck in their ways. Right? This is what we do. This is our HR process. This is that process. That's that process. And they've got people in there that sometimes maybe want to shield that process.
Of course.
Rather than going, do you know what? There you go. You're innovative. You're looking. I maybe don't know where you're going and how you're going to get there, but let's get a go. And I think if more businesses did that, I think they would have better results.
I think once they get the ball rolling, as I say, there's a few that are trying it, people are a wee bit scared, but I think now is the time, because it is getting to a tipping point where we are not getting what we need to do, and it can't continue. So I think now's the time for us to try it. And as I say, it's not an oversell. It's very much a look, let's try this and see how it goes. It won't be a total disaster, and we can tweak things as you know, to suit the business as we learn.
And I think one of the things that you're saying there is that, and you've not really said it, but this I'll say it. If these businesses don't innovate and think differently, they're not going to be here, right? That's my view on it, is because everything's going up, and they see these problems that are now occurring in their business. They're not going to go away, right? They're just going to get worse, and they'll maybe peter off for a wee bit, and you can paper over the cracks. The cracks will reappear. You need to be looking at now about your future of your business. And unfortunately, what I see a lot of times is people are too busy just trying to get stuff out the door. They're doing in circles, try to get stuff out the door. The forward vision isn't always there. And you're right, there's going to come a cliff edge where it's just got to be right. Can I get the people? No, can I get the production out the door? No, can I get my quality right? What's the next step?
Exactly.
The next step is shutting your door. So I completely agree with you that companies have to innovate and think differently. Obviously, we had that challenge when we started because there wasn't anybody that could do everything that we did. So we had to grow our own, right? And that comes with major challenges as well.
You've done well, I have to say. I like enjoy watching.
It's not me. That's his thing. I teach them to talk. Kate teaches them exactly how to do their job. But that's challenging as well. And we've been really fortunate with the people that we've brought in that have had the desire to be able to want to learn. But when like, I'm going to give Evan a plug, right? Because he went to a site, and the feedback we got from the client was, he was absolutely amazing, so professional, cared about our business, wanted to understand their process. And you're going like that, right? We've done well with that. And all of our team are similar. But that's have we just been lucky, or is it just the way we've done it with the right people? It could be a bit of it all. I think it's a bit of that. It's a wee bit of special magic. You need the right person, but you need to be able to own them. Kane. Because you won the Young Person of the Year, didn't you? Kevin did that. Actually, not so sorry. That was Harry. That's right, Harry, because I was the judge. It was excellent. It was a really good application. Absolutely. He's a superstar. We've got a lot of superstars. And this is good. So we're going to have, we'll have another entry in next year and the year after and the year after, because every one of those young adults that we've got in our business are turning into the best in the business. Right? Phenomenal. And the responsibility that these young lads and hopefully some young lasses coming into the business are taking on, it is usually way beyond the expectations of somebody that age. So you've had Harry won that, obviously Evan won Apprentice of the Year, but Evan's still, I think he's 21 yet, and he's, I think, was that Evan, he came to Inspire. That was the STEM event for families. I was at that one. He was at the one as well that we did at Barhead. That was the one Inspire. Yep. Done at the Foundry. I done it in the Foundry, and he forgot. Did they forget? I think I forgot to tell him he was going. And then I phoned him, and the for Friday night, and he was out. I mean,
well, he done really
he
well.
done really well. That was,
Didn't seem rough at all.
I think it was a first year or second place. No, remember I was getting the thermal gun. I was giving it to all the kids.
That's
And I
right.
was saying to the kids, wait till this, Amber. So I was saying to the kids, put it on her head, right? And see, because he'd been out and he was all dehydrated, right? So obviously it's gone up with his head all pure white because he's dehydrated and all that water. So I was saying to the veins, I'm like, right, put it on both their heads. See the person whose head's the whitest, that means they're the brainiest. So who's the brainiest? And they'd be like, Evan. Yeah, black the beard's not, of course he's as rough as hell, man. He's been out in the baby all night. So the way thought it's brilliant, the parents thought it's hilarious. But that's what I'm saying. So there, I think he was a first year apprentice at that point. And the confidence and everything in him was just brilliant.
It was great, came across really well.
Aye, really good. So we have got a fantastic team. But what I was going with that was we've had to try and grow our own, but that you can only grow
So many.
so many at a certain pace and at a certain cost as well. So you're then having to get other people in. And we're quite a niche sector, so there's not a lot of people out there
For you to go and take.
for us to go and take.
Yep.
And what you're then having to do is take somebody that's got hopefully 70 or 80% of the skills and then give them the rest. And also make sure that those people don't come with baggage in regards to the culture and the way that they've worked before, because a lot of the companies that do what we do are just good ticking boxes. We don't tick boxes. So we can take somebody that's ticked a box for the last 20 years and then try to get them to do what we do, and it's a major challenge. So,
but also, I think you don't want to be seen to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. And in my job, that's hard because obviously you're recruiting for lots of different people in the same sector. And it's one of those things where, morally, we will not go and headhunt people from our customers and from our clients. We just won't do it. So obviously if people that work for them come to us, they're looking for a job anyway.
Yes. So
you can't play God, you need to go and help that candidate. But I think that's really difficult when you're in something really niche. You don't want to be seen going away mopping up the talent and giving other people a harder time. Even the same in recruitment. Would I go and headhunt other recruiters from my competitors that I chat away to, and we'll share information and intel? You just don't do it. So I think what you're doing is right, building your own. I think all businesses probably need to spin a wee plate of everything. A wee tiny plate of everything. And it seems overwhelming, but even if we talk about the STEM events, if you want your business to be known in the local area, go and join in with, I'm a trustee of a charity called Smart STEMs. You probably know them.
I know them well.
But it's dead easy to make your business be involved. You can ask them to do something if it's Ayrshire. Can we do an event in Ayrshire? You just send your volunteers along, and your business is out there. You're engaging with local school kids. They start to know what you're doing. So it's all these wee different things that you get involved in that build it longer term. And the more you do it, the better it gets. There's quite a few businesses in Ayrshire that I've watched for years that have done really well. And I don't know if you know Egger.
Oh yeah, I know Egger well.
They've got 23. But when I last spoke to them, they had 23 engineering apprentices in there for one site.
We had
Brilliant.
4 of them in doing training ways.
They're good.
They are very good. I like Egger. Jamie.
That's what I placed Jamie.
Jamie.
The apprenticeship manager.
Jamie's a very good guy. I like Jamie.
And they were quite specific about what they want, and they wanted somebody that could manage modern workforce, that had served their time, that they didn't want to settle on that, and we looked for a long time for Jamie. But I always watch them from afar and think, right, they're quite remote, they've struggled with talent, they now engage with absolutely every local school. They're in at the unis, wherever they need to be, they'll be. And they talk the talk, they walk the walk, they do what they say they're going to do. And to have 23 apprentices in one wee site and an apprenticeship manager, it's brilliant.
And do you think because where they are it's a struggle to get people. And do you think that doing all those things are helping them get the right people they need within their business?
I think it does, because I hear for them less looking for help.
Good.
Much less.
But that's exactly when you know that something's working. And that's for me again. So I constantly we're talking about the lack of skills and the lack of available skills. So I do agree that that's there. But what I also kind of agree with a wee bit and feel that that's the case is that people only try to do things different. They've went to try and do something different.
And it's worked.
It's worked. They've not got the same challenges they had before. And yes, they'll still have challenges, but it's not the same extent because they're doing something different.
I think it's a slow process, and that's what I'm saying. It's doing lots of different things consistently. Another business I've watched for years was Scottish Leather Group. They done it years ago, before everybody else was really focused on it. And again, it was probably their location, the types of skills. They created like leather technology degrees and sent all their future leaders on those specific degrees. They created apprenticeships, and you've seen some of those youngsters that went in as school kids just after school. Now senior managers have done their, their graduate apprentice as well, and they are now in senior leadership roles. So it's, if you watch it, you see it working. It's just a slow, painful process to do it, and you need to be consistent. You can't firefight. You can't dip in and out. And I kind of hope that part of, if I set that strategy for a company, you can help them stay on plan. Rather than, if somebody comes in and believes on it and leaves, it falls away. It's a bit like CI. It'll be a bit like your condition, your reliability. It will stay as long as people are there driving it, but things fall apart when somebody moves on or goes off sick or whatever else that's embedding it.
Needs to be led for the top as well. I think I've always said that, is that she to have embedding a strategy or a culture, you need the person at the top to 100% believe in it.
Absolutely.
Right. If that person goes, it's never going to work. So the people that are whatever rung in the ladder they can't make all these things happen. We talk about it with net zero and stuff like that. So if the owner of a company doesn't believe in trying to reduce the carbon, you can have as many carbon conscious and carbon focused people within your business if you want. If you don't believe in it, it's never ever going to work. So I get that. And what other things would you say that you've seen companies maybe doing different? So there'll be hopefully people sitting listening to this going, I've got a problem with trying to get the right skills. I've got a problem with trying to get the right people, but I don't know what to do, right? Obviously, apart from just phoning Karen, right? but what other things have you seen other companies doing that you think people could maybe get a wee bit of help and guidance from?
So I think an employer brand is really important now. So it's not just a buzzword, it's actually something your business needs. So rather than just thinking about marketing to your customers, you really need to be thinking about marketing to people that want to work for you. And that really does involve walking the walk again. So what are your company values? Do people know? Do you live and breathe them? What would people say about you in Glassdoor? What do you want them to say? How do you then make the business work for you? And then how do you go and shout about it? So there's all these things around cool, funny videos about your business or people that work there, what's their journey. As a recruiter, I help companies with that as well. Obviously, I've got access to loads of candidates, so they get their message out there. But doing it in the local areas, sponsoring local teams, giving to local charities, making sure that you're visible to that candidate pool, I think is really, really important. And companies, again, I'm kind of name dropping a lot of companies here, but one that I've watched again for years do it and have got really good at it is Booth Welsh. They're based in Ayrshire and they've been really slick at it now. Do
you know why? Because culture eats strategy for breakfast.
It's true.
Isn't it, Andrew? That's Amy Dale who's trademarked that.
But she is right. And as I say, they've needed really technical people. Where they're based wasn't the easiest of places either.
I was trying with Irvine, like. That's terrible saying Irvine's
in the West.
Oh, yes.
You're putting words in my mouth. I love Ayrshire. It's just the wages in the big towners don't always want to travel down. So
big city folk, we don't want to turn down there. How tatties and that down there. Right, we need to put our wellies on if we're going down to the Ayrshire coast.
The farmers. But I think they've done really well in terms of, again, bringing on loads of youngsters for the local area where they've put them through apprenticeships, graduate apprenticeships. Their skills are so technical. They get them involved in a lot of different events. They all go and they speak at things. They come along to, I was hosting some workshops for Seed and they sent their HR teams and younger members of the HR teams along to network and learn. So it's just doing things like that seems like, we're too busy to do it or we don't have the time. Actually making that wee bit of time to do these wee things consistently all makes everybody's life easier. Plus your staff enjoy it most of the chances of keeping them because they're doing more than just sitting in their office doing the same thing.
And that's one of the things I was going to say. See the likes of the STEM events and all these kind of events and stuff like that. I think it's good to get your kind of younger staff going to these things. So obviously Evan's been to a few, Harry's been to a few and stuff like that. So a lot of our younger guys have been to some. And Lucas, he was at one. recently, and it's great because
They love it.
they're proud of their business. They're proud of what they do, and they love telling people. So they like, so Lorna, she loves it. I mean, Lorna was in the business about a month, and we went to an event, and she's like, "I've only been here a month, but it's totally amazing," and blah 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 blah. And it's, I think it's a great chance for them to actually show that they're proud of what they do for a living.
I think as well, so they get a chance to really enjoy it. They network with other businesses, which at that level in age you don't get much chance
No.
to do.
No.
But also the school kids don't really want to see older. You know, they'd rather see people that they can
Aye.
relate to and go, I can do that.
Aye,
I
aye.
think it's easier to inspire them than if it's somebody that's a sort of been there, done that, showing them. They're less likely to listen. And we want everybody to go to the STEM events and to get involved and talk about their journeys. But I think for a specific age group to get the youngsters along and go, oh my God, what did you do? How did you get to do that?
See, I work out all right because I've got the same brain capacity as a primary 5. So that's how it all
When I
works well.
started it, I thought I was a youngster, and then somebody's like, oh, what did they say? I was talking, they went, oh, my mum does that as well. And I thought, oh, I'm never that age, all right then.
Karen, I used to, so see, throughout my whole career, I was always the youngest to do this. I was the youngest man,
Yeah,
the youngest this, the
and
youngest
it
that, the youngest that.
changes, doesn't
And then
it?
it just turns into, I'm an old guy, man. Right? I need my specs, my hair's going away. Oh, for fuck's sake. Where did this happen? I was always a young guy.
I know, I was at the gym actually, and I was sitting in the sauna chatting to this sort of young teenage guy, and he says, well, what do you do for your workouts? And I says, oh, 3 5Ks, and I do this and I do weights. And he went, my mum would never do that. I thought, oh,
I tell you, cheeky wee shite. Here's me sitting here feeling all young and hip and happy and doing my 5Ks and that, but I'm the same age as
it's like,
yourself.
whoa, my mum would never. Oh, thanks very much.
Right, so on the skills thing, so I think what you're saying there is getting your culture in, because I talk about it all the time, is put out your vibe and attract your tribe.
Yeah.
Right. So it's trying to put out the vibe there from what means something to your business to attract the people that actually
want to
get
work
it and
there.
want to work there. And I see a lot of companies doing it really, really well, but I see, and again, we'll go back to the manufacturing engineering space, where there's a lot of businesses have been doing what they've been doing for 30, 40, 50,
That's
60,
right.
70 years. And the evolution in that mindset is sometimes not always there. And I think that's one of the, when you're looking at back to we're talking about why sometimes people can't get the skills and the people that they want, is maybe because they've not got that attraction to the new next generation. It's not got that kind of right good feel and buzz to it that these, because as you say, it's no longer the candidates looking for a job, it's the companies looking for a candidate.
That's right.
So
The
you need
candidates.
it's back to, you need to sell why you are the place they want to be, rather than they're there.
Yeah.
Because there is people out there, right? It's just, unfortunately, if they don't want, if you're not the company they want to go
They're
to,
not going to
they're
be
not going to come.
attracted. And I also think if you do attract them and you have been doing the same thing for X amount of years, and we see it, and it's good because we can manage back, but you know, you'll maybe get somebody say, right, there's the job description, there's the salary, it's on site 5 days, it's this, it's that, it's a great place to work, there's free parking. The salary is maybe a good bit off what their competitors will be, because they've maybe not recruited in it for a long time.
I am.
So it's kind of stagnated because they haven't had to, you know, look at the market. And then they'll say, right, and I won't interview until I've got 5 good CVs in front of me. And actually, you need to go back and say it's no 1990, you know, and
Aye.
actually, if we get you 2 good CVs, you interview them as quickly as you can.
Aye.
And if they feel good for you, just go with it.
Aye.
It's almost like we need a comparison. Why? If that person's right.
Aye.
If that
I
person's
see
good,
that's
it's very old fashioned, because there's not always going to be 2 belters that want to come and work for you at this time that can do that job.
100%. And that's, we've obviously done it quite a lot. The right person's come along, we've made the job.
That's right.
Because you're just going, right, you fit our values, our vision, what we stand for as a business, and you've got the skills to make an impact in here. We might not have that role just now, but guess what? We're going to make it.
I think that's a great way, if you can be agile and do it. Not
It's tough.
everything.
Karen, we're sitting in that position just now, right? And we're going, probably didn't have that role for about another 6 months, but the right person's came along.
Take them.
Oh, that's
And
fine.
we helped a company with a transformation program, and their really senior person phoned and says, I need to meet with you. I need some help. And when I went in to speak, they basically just said, just could you give me the best talent if you come across them that you think will be good, after me telling you my plans and what I want to do. And literally on a Saturday night, if I phoned him, he'd be saying, that's Karen, I need to answer.
Aye.
Right, I'll meet them on Monday night, offer, what will it take to come and work? And they got the most wonderful, range of talent. They're all still there. Loads of them have been promoted into other roles, and it was very diverse in his thought process. So rather than this person has to be a mechanical engineer, I'm like, well, actually, I've got you a brilliant chemical engineer that's done this, that, and that. People's skills are excellent. He'd meet them and go, you're right. I'm going with that. So again, when you talk about diversity, a lot of people think it's gender or ethnicity or whatever it is, but actually it's definitely diversity in skills. Think about the person and enough of the base, and you can totally shape it to suit.
We've got hundreds of examples of that. Like Harry, for example. Harry was at university to do maths, right? Would he be a great mathematician? 100%, right? Is that the role that he wanted to the rest of his life? Probably not. But that was just where his skills went.
Yep.
And we're like, we can do so much more with you, right? And at the time, he didn't know that. He got to that stage because he had the right attitude. And Kane and I are sitting going like, this is where this could go.
Yeah.
Right. And we've got quite a few others where, like, so they've came from, like, Evan. I'll give you Evan an example as well. Evan was wanting to be a joiner because he hated school and he kind of thought that was an easy way for him to go. There's nothing wrong with being a joiner, right?
No.
It would have been a great career for him. Do I think he'd get the same satisfaction as he gets out of this? Absolutely no way. Right.
But then a lot of the youngsters won't know these jobs exist.
Yeah.
That's
they don't.
where we need to play our part, because how do you know about all these great things?
Yeah. And we've got the likes of, obviously, Matty. Matty's an electrical engineer. That's what his role is. He's now an AI stroke, data stroke, all that kind of
Great.
expert. So when we first spoke to Matty, did he have a thought process of becoming the AI guy? No, really.
No.
Right? But he's became the AI guy. And that's where I've always said is, don't look at what skills somebody's got just now. Look at what the capabilities they've got for the future.
Exactly.
Right? And if you've got a good attitude, you can learn anything.
I think when you're a smaller business, it's easier to be agile. It's a bit like me. I'll always say, you're the master. I don't have set job titles. If you hit that target, you get to become this. I don't think that works.
Yeah.
So I'll always say, we'll shape your job to suit you and create the title and the job and the activities that suit you and suit the business. And I think that's really nice. I think it's when you get into that bigger structure.
But I don't think it's actually the bigger structure. I think what you find is most of the bigger structure businesses are set in their ways. It's because they've been there for long.
And that's what they think they need.
Yes.
And I think when you're unionised,
Yes.
it makes it much more difficult. So, for example, I'm saying, well, a skilled supply chain partners would really struggle, because how could you then just go in and change role profiles and people's responsibilities? You can't. But what I'm saying is, actually, as people leave, you've got a chance to change it before anybody new comes in. So let's look at, when that person leaves, what would work.
Yeah.
If there's somebody coming up for retirement age, or somebody going to go off, or, for whatever reason, you could actually map in how you change that role when the person leaves. So there's ways around it.
Good. So all of those leaders that have got unionised workforces, come speak to Karen, because
we've got time.
there may be ways in which you could move things forward. But I do think so. So yes, I agree with small business. You can move quicker, you can do things differently and all that kind of stuff. But there's absolutely no reason why a bigger business could do that.
No.
I mean, I've worked in large global multinational businesses, and I've always been one for trying to, well, it's probably because I don't like doing as I'm told, but I've always been one that's tried to implement change.
Good.
So when I worked at GE, my boss loved me to bits. And if you're watching, Adam, I know you still love me, right? But I was the biggest pain in his arse, because I'm like, listen, just because it says that that's how you have to do it, the customer pays their money. Let's go and do what they want.
Yeah.
Not what we're try to inbred in our business. And that's just, unfortunately, the way businesses have grown, and the big multinational organisations, and this is how we do things. Right? Okay, but it's the person that is trying to pay his money doesn't abide to that
How
model.
do we adapt?
How
it,
do
of
we adapt to it?
course.
And it's the same as the skills thing and stuff you're saying is I think all of these businesses can do it,
Mhm.
but it needs somebody at the top to go, we've got to do this
Let's
differently.
try it.
Right? We've got a problem here. How are we going to deal with it? Right? The way we're doing it at the moment isn't working. How do we do it different?
Yep.
So I think these bigger companies can do it, but they need the appetite to.
Mhm. Good.
So they need to just come and talk to you.
They are.
Aye.
But anybody that wants to come on, you know where I am.
Right. No, I think I just think it's great that you're trying to do things different. Obviously, there is challenges out there for most businesses in the engineering manufacturing sector, and even if today the kind of takeaway for people is obviously hopefully they can get in touch with yourself, Karen. But even if they take away and go, do you know what? I now want to try and think about how we could do this different.
Yep.
Because the goal of everybody is trying to make sure that we have a sustainable country, economical
Yep.
footprint, whatever we want to call
We
it.
all want to look back and say we've made a difference to the
Correct.
economy. We want opportunity.
Yep.
And I think if businesses do want to take something away, there's loads of wee easy steps, and I've kind of outlined some of them. But looking at what is the basic process that you're following. As your hiring manager's dragging it out because they're too busy doing their job and actually you're losing your good talent, how do you pin them down? How do you make sure that good candidate gets captured really quickly? You know, are you using AI sifting? Does that work for you? If it doesn't, you know, look at other ways to do it. Is your culture right? Is there wee tweaks you can make that's dead easy? Does that mean going to some STEM events and sending your younger members of staff along to get them engaged? You know, lots and lots of wee tiny things. Is there a wee benefit you can offer that's not that expensive that means a lot? Is there, you know, for example, we're all members of Seed here. If you're a member of Seed, you can send 2 people a year, I think, in their Growth 500 programme.
Yeah.
Wee mini MBA. They're with peers from other companies. They get to network. They've a great time. They learn and they put it in their CV.
Yeah.
There's lots of wee things you can do that aren't that time consuming and aren't that expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So there's all these wee tiny baby steps that you don't need to be too radical that might make changes in keeping your staff, attracting new people, and you know, being able to develop them into bigger roles in the future. So, you know, it doesn't always need to be something big and scary.
Good. Put out your vibe, attract your tribe.
That's
There you
it.
go.
Yes.
Don't
I'm
go
just
anything.
doing that for me just now as well. So
Aye.
anybody that loves recruitment and manufacturing and all things STEM and wants to get immersed and is looking for a job, come and speak to me.
There you go. So,
Plug.
so there you go. Plugged right out. Karen's looking for staff. Get in there and work with. As long as you like recruitment, engineer, manufacture, and yapping.
Aye, a nice out, nice out.
I need a night out. Aye. So obviously all these folk that are getting this phone call on a Saturday, like, right, either she's got a great candidate for me or she's steaming.
And it's both.
Right, brilliant, Karen. Is there anything else you want to add in? Because I think we've covered quite a lot, and I think there's been a lot of value.
And I don't want to switch people off, but probably one of the other things that we maybe didn't cover that's just popped into my head might be around the sort of universities and studying here, because what I'm finding, and I think a lot of people finding the same, I think because of the free education system we've got here, means a lot of local kids and young people are not winning places in favour of people from other countries that are paying.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really false economy, and I don't know who will listen to this, and it's just if it can touch the right heartstring, I think it's really important, because what's happening is our young people are going down south, or they're going to America, as your young one's done, and they're studying and they're meeting partners and they're getting jobs and they're staying, and they don't come back here. And the foreign people that we've all invited here only have 2-year visas, and a lot of companies say, no, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I'm having to say no to all these great people that are thinking they're going to have all this opportunity, and they have to go home, and we're left with nobody. And that is really adding to that
The skills
mix.
challenges.
Yes, so we never covered that part, and I thought it's really important to say
that's really
anything in
important.
education that can make a change, please be thinking about that.
Well, here's something for you, right? Do you think Brexit has made an impact to the skills availability for the manufacturing engineering sectors?
I think that's been part of the mix, definitely. There's, as I say, there's a whole load of different things, but definitely with Brexit, you get good skills going back.
Yeah.
COVID, you get good skills going home.
Yeah.
They don't want to stay away from their families, or you get good skills.
I think COVID massed Brexit.
It was a big mix. That's
Aye,
what I'm saying.
so-
There's
so-
a lot
so
of things.
I've-
And then also people from here got sideline businesses on furlough and go, I'm not going back to work. I
Aye,
can't
aye.
be bothered with that anymore. So as I'm saying, we've just been hit with all these different unusual challenges, and God knows what the future holds with the way the world is. So we've all just got to plough on and do our bit.
Just have to think differently.
That's
That's
it.
all you need to do.
Get in
Is it-
touch.
if it's not working, try something else, until you
That's
find
it.
something that works.
I agree.
And I'm confident that you just phone Karen, she'll sort it
That's
for you.
it. I think you'll all be confident after this.
Right, okay,
Thank
listen,
you.
thank you very
for the
much.
cakes and the smoothie.
No problem at all. So anybody that's still watching just now, thank you very much. Anybody that's part of the weekend crew, i.e. Dougie Aiken, you can let us know what you think. And yes, if anybody, obviously, if any of this resonates with anybody and you want to get in touch with Karen, you can obviously, she's tagged in this video, but I'm sure you'll find her on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. I enjoyed
Thank you.
that. Thanks.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Amber.